Welcome back to the art room. This is Larrabee here. This week we're going to be talking about seasons. Seasons is how we divide our year based on the weather. So typically in the summer where it's warm outside, we're wearing our bathing suits and shorts. Then we get into fall, which is the season we're in now, and the mornings and the evenings start to become cooler. The days start to get a little shorter. It starts to get darker earlier, and we kind of feel the little bit of cool winter coming, which is our next season. Winter is typically when we think of snow and ice. Winter is the time where you might need gloves on and a coat instead of your jacket. And after winter, we come back into spring where the weather starts to warm up. The sun's out a little more. We can start to take off the gloves and just wear a light jacket now and then. And we start to plant our gardens usually in the spring. And things will go through the summer and we'll start to harvest them again in the fall. And the seasons continue in this cycle each year. Fall is typically when we begin to harvest certain fruits and vegetables. Here's a couple of those foods that are famously harvested or picked, ready to eat in the fall. We have apples. This is the time of year when we go out to the orchard, we can pick apples. Pumpkins. We looked at that several weeks ago when we made our Yayoi Kusama pumpkins. We have pomegranate. This actually grew on a tree in my yard. We also have guava. I know this looks kind of like a kiwi. It's very smooth. This is also a fruit. It's sweet on the inside. And here's one of the stars of the fall, corn. Corn grows on these long stalks and it's picked in the fall and ready to eat. I have two types of corn here. This is the kind that we'd find at the grocery store. This is yellow corn or sweet corn. And when it's growing on the stalk, it's covered up by these husks. These parts of the corn stalk are called the husk, and it covers and protects the seeds and the kernels inside. And then when you pick it, you can peel back the layers and find the corn underneath. And this part here is the silk of the corn. This comes out the front. This is flint corn. Notice all the different amazing colors that you can see in this. Flint corn is named after a rock. Flint is a type of rock. So I want you to think for a minute about why this corn might be named after a rock. If you said because it's really hard like a rock, then you're correct. This yellow corn we can boil very easily and it's tender and soft. This corn is very rough and hard on the outside. It kind of feels like it has a layer of rock over it. And that corn can still be used for food and for eating. A variation of flint corn is used to make popcorn. But it definitely is used for something different than the corn that we would just put in our kitchen. Today we're going to use the flint corn as our inspiration for our artwork. Here's the supplies that you'll need. You need one piece of paper, a pencil, and your crayons. Optional, if you have a marker, that would be great. A Crayola marker, a Sharpie, a black pen. Grab that too. Get your supplies and meet me back here and we'll begin our artwork. All right. We have our sheet of paper. We're going to put our paper horizontal. That means side to side. And we're going to fold it horizontal and line our edges up. Just press down gently on this side. We're only going to use half of our paper. So if you would like to cut the other half of your paper off and save it for another project, you could. I'm going to set my corn up here for my inspiration. And I'll put this one beside us here. As we start drawing, let's begin with our pencil. We're going to be drawing the body of our corn first. So the part that holds the kernels. Take a look at it for just a moment. What shape would you say that this is? It's long on the sides, but it's curved on the ends. It's like a very, very long oval. So we're going to draw a long oval on our paper. Here's how to begin. Place your hand on the top of your paper and cover this up. This part we're going to use in just a minute to draw our husk, but not right now. Beneath your hand, I want you to draw a small dot towards the center of your paper. Let's do the same thing at the bottom, another small dot. We're going to connect these two dots with curved lines to make the outside of our corn. We did something similar when we drew our pumpkins, if you did that project with us, except this is going to be not quite as wide as a pumpkin. It's going to be a little more narrow. Watch first. I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to curve my line down until it meets at the bottom. All right, your turn. All right, now let's do the other side. Start at the top, and we're going to curve our lines down to the bottom. So we have the outside edge of our corn. It's a little wider at the top than the bottom. Not a big thing. If yours isn't, that's fine. But if you wanted to adjust it, you could make this top part a little wider and erase the lines you don't need. You can make this bottom part a little more narrow. All right, now we're going to add these rows for our kernels to nestle in between. So we're going to add these vertical lines. The first one is going to be simply a straight line from the top dot to the bottom dot. Go ahead and add a line from the top to the bottom of your corn. Next, we're going to add curved lines. We're going to connect this top dot to our bottom dot just by adding a curved line. Actually, let's add 2 curved lines to each side. There's one side. I'm going to turn my paper because I find it's easier to do this way. And here's 2 curved lines on the other side. Now we have our rows for our kernels. We're done with our pencil. You can put it to the side and pick up your marker. If you don't have a marker, continue on with your pencil. That works just fine. I'm going to use a marker. I think it'll show up a little better. We're going to fill in each of these rows with kernels of corn. Let's look again here at our corn. What shape are these kernels? Did you say oval again? If you did, you're correct. These are ovals again, running down the edge of our paper. So watch first. I'm going to start at the top of one of my rows, and I'm going to make an oval. My oval is touching the 2 lines on the side, but it's not going over them. And as I go down this space, this section that I've drawn, my kernels of corn might get bigger because my lines are further apart. I'm just going to make ovals. I'm just letting them touch each other. They're standing in a row, all nice at attention. All right, if you've got the idea, go ahead and pick up your pencil or your marker and begin adding your ovals between your lines. We're going to add them all the way down to the bottom. They're going to start to get smaller again as we get closer to the bottom of our corn till they're super tiny. And when we get to the end, let's say pop, and that way we know we made it to the end. Okay, I've done one row. We're going to go in and fill in each of these. Often when we draw together, I'll speed up the section that I'm drawing in, but today let's draw together. That way you don't feel like you're behind or you're rushed. We can enjoy the process together. So here we go. We're going to start back at the top. Get to the end, and what do we say? Pop! And then let's start back at the top on the next row. You can pause the video at any time if you need a little more time to finish that row. more to go. We've got half of it done. Let's do the other side. Pop. 2 more rows to go. You know you're doing a great job and you're patiently filling in your ovals. I'm noticing that some of my rows are very wide and some of my rows are smaller. That's neat. That variation is in the corn too. Not every kernel is the same size and the same shape. Pop. Last row. Pop. We did it. High five. We got through all our rows of corn. Great job taking your time and filling in all the kernels of corn. It makes such a neat pattern. I bet you have a beautiful pattern on your paper as well. All right, so we have the corn, the body of our corn done in the kernels, but now it's time to do this top. This is called the corn husk. It's the part that covers the corn. This corn husk is dried. This is what it looks like when it comes off the plant. It's green. This is dried to more of a brown color. Check out these lines as it goes up. We're going to draw on the top of our corn the same kind of lines going up. At first, I just want you to draw lines. So we're going to draw, let's see, let's start with 3 lines going up from our corn to the top of our paper. Let's draw 3 wavy lines. And then let's connect these lines and bring them back down with another wavy line. And we could even fill in a few in the back here. Put one more on this side. And then this corn has all these little small lines running along the edges of it. So let's go back in these same shapes. We're just going to add more lines. We're just copying the same lines that's already there. So here's what I mean. I'm just curving it up and back down. Just adding some more detail to my picture with lines. All right, our corn is now drawn. Woohoo! All right, now I want you to take a look. Here's a couple of different types of the Flint corn that I have here. Check out these colors. They're pretty dark. Let's see, I'll put a piece of paper under them so maybe we can see them a little better. They're pretty dark colors. This is almost some purples and browns and blacks. And here we have purple and white and almost pink and yellow. This one has a lot of red and orange and yellow. Notice that not every kernel is the same color. There's not necessarily a certain pattern to it. They're just scattered throughout. Choose which colors you're going to use. So look in your coloring box and decide which one of these you want to choose. You're going to do the red and the orange and the yellow. These are all warm colors, if you remember from our lesson. Or this one has more of purples and pinks, and this is more cool colors with a little bit of that warm yellow thrown in. This is all cool colors over here, all the purples. I think I'm going to do warm colors. I'm going to go with red. I have a couple of different orange colors and yellow. And you know, I think I'm going to grab one of my light purples too. It's kind of a pinky purple color. All right, we don't have to color in every single kernel of corn, and we don't have to do them in any certain pattern. You are the artist, you get to choose. Here's a couple of ideas I have for you. You can color in lightly by barely pressing down on your crayon, or you can press down more and color it in more solid and darker. This is a light value of red, and this is a darker value of red. So not only do you have different colors, but you can add different values by how much you press down or how little you press down on your colors. So I might do a few red, and then I'm going to skip over to orange. I'm going to try this light and dark too. You can see the difference between the light orange and the dark orange. I'm going to leave a few that are just white. And let's see what this pink purpley color looks like. Ooh, that's pretty. I'm going to do that one a little darker too. And then add a little red underneath it. And we'll just continue on each row of our corn, deciding where we want to put our colors. I'll add some darker red up here. Let's try this lighter orange. I think you guys get the idea. Can press down for dark value, leave it light. I have enjoyed looking at these fall fruits and vegetables with you. It was fun to draw with you today. We're going to start moving into the winter season next week. We'll talk a little bit more about that. See you then.